All right, Coach. Last one of these for the year. Just kind of your thoughts on the season.
Obviously, from our standpoint, we're disappointed with being 5-7. Disappointed with really being 4-4 in the league. Not that 4-4 in the league obviously isn't terrible, but disappointed that there's other games that we should have won if we executed properly, particularly down the stretch. And we had opportunities, obviously, to win 3, 4, 5 other games. And be right in a position to win the league title, which was our goal coming into the year. Like the way we ended up. I like the way we played down the stretch. We certainly played better football, more winning football, really the last 3 weeks of the season. But overall from 2017, just disappointed. Opportunity were there to win more games, and we didn't do it. And in life, as you're building a program, which we've been doing for 4 years here, obviously the first 2 years there's not a lot of growth. There's just a lot of building and putting pieces in place. And then year 3, obviously we hit a nice growth spurt, and we got going in the right direction, and we got our confidence, and we played really good football down the stretch in year 3. And then year 4, we played really good football in spurts. We played really good football some games for 57 minutes, but sometimes as you continue to build something, there's some hard lessons along the way, and we learned some hard lessons this year, and we've got to take that into the future to know that you can never take your foot off the gas. You can never think that, hey, we're in good shape in this one, or we feel good at halftime, and then the execution on both sides of the ball in critical situations. And if you can learn those lessons, and sometimes they're hard and they're painful, but that sometimes makes you that much stronger in the future as you continue to build and continue to learn. And we were on a nice growth curve, and even this year we did a lot of really good things as a football team, but we didn't win as many games as we'd like. And now you got to critically analyze why you didn't win those games. And it's not blow it up and start from scratch, because we're very close. We've proven over the last 2 years that we can play with any MAC team, and this year kind of anyone could play with any MAC team. And we beat some of the better teams in the MAC, and we beat some of the better teams in the MAC handily. We lost to some teams in the MAC that didn't have as good a record, but that's also kind of MAC football. And another big lesson for us is the team that usually survives in this league is a team that can handle the adversity and handle the bumps and roads, because everybody had bumps in the road. This year, everybody had where they got knocked down and lost a game that maybe on paper they were supposed to win. So another lesson for us moving forward, just if you're going to play in the MAC football, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a bunch of blowouts. It's going to be a bunch of tight games, and you got to find ways to play good football and win those tight games. And obviously that's what Akron did on our half this year. They didn't necessarily play better football than anyone else. They won 2 or 3 close games that other people didn't win, and that all of a sudden they're sitting on top of the league. So I think there's a great opportunity for us to come back even stronger a year from now. Obviously, we don't have a ton of turnover on our roster. Again, next year will be really our first senior class that we've put together. It'll be our first senior class that's had over 15 players in a while at Miami. So if we don't learn the lessons, then we'll be in a lot of dogfights, and we'll probably come up short again. If we learn our lessons, we'll probably be in a lot of dogfights, and we'll find ways to pull those wins out and get to where we want to go.
Are you surprised or, I guess, disappointed that those lessons had to be learned? I mean,
no, I'm not surprised or really disappointed. I'm disappointed in the outcomes of games that we put ourselves in position to win, and we fought hard to put ourselves. Learning how to become a championship program takes time, and building a championship program takes time. And if you look at, you can get to a certain level, and that doesn't mean you're a championship program. Just because we had a nice run of 6 games a year ago doesn't mean that we had totally arrived. I know everybody thought we had totally arrived, and I think some of our kids thought we had totally arrived. I don't think our coaching staff thought we had totally arrived, and knew that there's still, and even playing in this league, you're never going to be totally arrived, because if you look at the history of the league, it's just everybody beats up on everyone, and very few times does somebody go through the conference season undefeated. This year, one team had 1 loss, and everyone else had 2 or 3 losses. And so you're going to have to be able to handle the ups and downs. But to me, it's just another step in our process of building, and our kids learning, and the mindset they need to have going into the season, and the mindset during the season that life's not going to be easy. So to me, it's just part of the building blocks of becoming a championship team, and it's not easy to become a championship team, and it's not easy to become consistent. But we want to become a team that consistently wins at a high level in this league and consistently wins conference championships on a regular basis and consistently goes to bowl games. And I think we're very close. As we talked as a team, we lost one less game than, or we lost one more game than we did a year ago, or we won one less game. It feels like we lost 30 more. All right, and that's also for kids to understand, like, we're not that different than we were a year ago. All right, it felt different because we had a really good ending, but we were 6-6 or 5-7. There's not, the results weren't that different. Okay, in this year we were actually in more games to win. Last year in the year there's a lot of games we weren't really in position to necessarily win all of them. So for us to understand, like, okay, it's not as bad as it makes us feel right now, which we feel awful and we're disappointed and we're upset and we're angry and we're not very happy about. We're still in a pretty good position when it comes to MAC play. And if you look at our 8 MAC games, they're all winnable, they're all losable. Now, what do you do to correct those little areas that you need to correct to win a few more and be in position to win a league title? And we're right on the cusp of doing that.
So I get the impression that you don't feel like you have to go back and take a look at what you did last year and totally revamp things, that it's more of a fine-tuning type off-season for you?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of every season, you're going to go back and you're going to evaluate every phase of your football program, from in season to out of season to games. You're going to look at where we were at special teams. So if you look at special teams, as I try to tell our team, if you look at special teams a year ago to special teams this year, it's not even close. Our special teams are better in all 6 areas. Our kicker and punter, our execution, our coverage, our returns, everything's better. All right. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be better next year, but we have most of the key components back in SC. So from that point, we didn't take a step back. We took a giant step forward. Offensively, we ran the ball well at the end of last year. We ran the ball better this year. We didn't throw the ball as efficiently this year. All right. We probably threw the ball and gained as much yards and threw as many touchdowns, but we didn't protect the ball when the ball was in the air as well. And that was obviously an area. If you look at losses, there's a couple pick sixes or another pick that took it down that were critical in the outcome of very close, tough, hard-fought games. So we need to continue to improve in that area. But we did a lot of things offensively as good or better than we did a year ago. All right. Defensively, it was kind of hit and miss. There's times that we played very good defense. There's times we played average defense. There's times we didn't play very good defense at all, depending on even the week and who the opponent was. We didn't defend the run as well as we did a year ago, and at times we didn't defend the pass as well as we did. We certainly didn't rush the quarterback. So we didn't have a great year on defense. Do we need to start from scratch and revamp our defense? No. We have a lot of pieces in place. Did we have some key injuries, missing Heath, missing Junior, missing DeAndre Montgomery? Yeah, but we still didn't play as good as we know how to play on defense. So we have to get back to being more consistent. And some of our troubles on that side of the ball were, like we've talked earlier this year, just kids' expectations that maybe it was going to be easy at times, and other kids trying to do too much and really be out of position at times and give up easy plays. And we did better the last few weeks of the season of not giving up easy plays to the opposition. But we got to continue to look at where our puzzle piece goes. We had some key injuries up front, not having Paul Moses or Dean Lemon all year, or two of our guys we were counting on to replace JT and the boys with the pass rush. They should be healthy. They should be back. We had some young DNs that we think can really add to our pass rush that had to play this year that probably weren't ready for high level, MAC play, but they got in there and got some experience that they should be better. So I think there's some areas defensively that we know we need to improve on, but I think we have some pieces in place to do it. So you're always going to critically evaluate everything. It doesn't feel like it, but this team right now is in better shape than the team last year going into next season. I know the record was one game less, and I know we didn't do some of the things we did a year ago, but we have more depth. We have better special teams. We have everybody returning on our offense besides one tight end and 2 receivers who were really good players for us, all right? Our 2 best O-linemen didn't basically play the whole season, all right? You lose Godlewski and Doyle, who are our 2 most talented kids, and they don't play the whole season. So we did some really nice things up front. Everybody's back up front, and you're going to add your 2 best players. So to feel going in and next year, where do we feel like offensively? All our tailbacks are back, and we're going to get Maurice Thomas back, who we missed for since the Cincinnati game, we didn't have one of our biggest weapons on offense, all right? Yeah, we lose a couple wideouts, but you got Gardner back, who should be one of the top wideouts in the country next year, and you got Luke Mayock back, and you got Dom Robinson. We got some kids that we think can definitely fill the void there. So when you just look at our offense from last year to this year, experience, depth, offensive line, running back position, we're in pretty good shape and even better shape than a year ago. This year compared to last year, defense, obviously losing Heath Harden is going to be a blow, and we got to find a way to replace him. But we're going to have a bunch of 3-year starters back next year, and we will. I think we're going to come back pretty hungry on defense because we didn't play consistent on that side of the ball as we like, and I think there's a lot of kids that had really good years as sophomores and had just okay years as juniors, and I think they're already priming to have really big years as seniors. So you got your 3 linebackers back, you got Josh Allen back, you got DeAndre Daniels back, you got Darius Thompson, who played a bunch, back, you got Nate Trawick back, you got Quinn Calcagno back. We have a lot of pieces returning, and we have some young depth guys coming back too. So I still think we've continued to build it. It's stronger than it was a year ago. The results weren't stronger than a year ago. I totally understand that. We didn't have as good a season, but our football team going into next year should be in position to be crazy competitive in the MAC again and should be able to play with anybody in the league. And that's what we were trying to build 4 years ago when we weren't very competitive in any games, let alone talking about playing with anyone, and whether it be OU, Akron won our half, and we beat Akron fairly soundly a few weeks ago. So, we continue to put ourselves in position. There, like we said, there's lessons to be learned, and you got to play and you got to win those close games if you want to get where you want to go.
So is it safe to say you're still super excited for next season? While a lot of fans are maybe a little down in the dumps after this season, I mean, you're still crazy excited for next year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they're fans and they're paying attention, I'm all with the fans that are disappointed about this year. I'm one of the fans that's disappointed for this year, and upset about this year, and shoulda, woulda, coulda, and yeah, we should have been better, and we should have won more games. We didn't. And like any time in life, anytime you're running a company, anytime you have adversity, anytime you have a bad quarter, what do? You hopefully come back stronger from it. But as far as the pieces and the places for Miami football, as we build our program and this will be the first full year we're recruiting with the APC up and running. There's so many things that our program continues to get stronger and stronger. And I know 4 years ago we were 0-16 and everybody, wants you to go and, off of last year and then just win every championship after. I get it. That's what fans want, and that's what fans should want. That's what being a fan is all about. You love your team and you want to see them just win, win, win. But you look at our pieces on offense and you look at our piece on defense, you look at our piece in the kicking game, we're the strongest going into season we have been in a long time. And we got 5 or 6 tailbacks that can play at a very high level, And you look at the guys we lost to injury, if you just say Paul Moses and Dean Lemon, that's better than any freshman coming in. Those kids are proven players that can play in this league and do some good things. If you say you're getting Maurice Thomas back and Danny Godlewski might be the best center in this league. If you say you're going to get Tommy Doyle back, and Demo didn't play the last 3 weeks. Demo's going to be healthy and ready to go. Miles Reed missed most of the season. We're going to add from within of just guys that missed most of the year or all the year due to injuries. And then the experience level of not only a lot of these kids played as sophomores and went through an 0-6 to 6-6, which is a lot of experience. And then this year they went through a very up and down season where we played some really good football and we beat some really good teams, and we played some bad football and lost. And now that experience, and we all talk about experience, well, that experience helps you down the road. And you learn from the good, but you learn more from the bad. Anything in life, you learn more from your mistakes than you learn and we're going to do it as a staff, and we've always done it as a staff, and we're going to do it as a program, and our kids are going to do it, and we should come back even stronger next year.
You talked about the guys coming back from injury this year. This was the first year that you were able to redshirt most of the kids coming in. You mentioned some kids that had to play because of injury. Talk a little bit about the depth, or tell us about the depth that you're going to add by those kids that have been playing on the scout team all year. Yeah, no.
The nice thing, most of the kids this year got to redshirt. The nice thing, we had probably 15 or so freshmen that redshirted. A lot of them are going to be, fighting returning starters for positions. I think some of them can do that. There's some really talented kids in that group. But we're still in a situation now, like I was talking about OU replaces upperclassmen with upperclassmen. They don't replace upperclassmen. We are playing freshmen and redshirt freshmen, sophomores, and, now again, we're only turnover. We lose 6 guys that played significant amount of football this year, 3 on each side of the ball that really were major contributors to us. So even though these young guys, and I like them, they're probably battling for ST. They're probably battling for backup roles. And yes, somebody may jump in and start. I think the kids that have the better chance of the Jalen Besters, the Dom Robinsons, the Mike Browns that actually played, Elijah Watson that actually played some this year, I think they're obviously ahead. That's why they played this year. I think for the kids that redshirted, it'll still be, looking at some positions like, okay, no one left, all the backers are back, at my position, all the old linemen are back, and 2 of the starters that didn't play all year, they're coming back, and so there'll still be some, and that's what good programs do, and that's how you sustain and you have consistency. And we've been fortunate to have consistency with our staff. We've been fortunate to have consistency with our players, that we've been able to develop these players. And, obviously this senior class, if you look at, Gus Ragland at quarterback, Zoe and Kenny at running back, Nate Becker's got another year because he had a double injury, but he's really the tight end in this class. Up front, Mitch Palmer, Ryan Mullen, McCullum, Rigg, all right, Nate Trawick, Mac Duffin, Josh Allen, Junior McMullen, DeAndre Montgomery, Brad Koenig, and I don't think I haven't named them all, but there's this is your first, when you say, okay, that's the scene. There's a bunch of 3-year stars in. There's a bunch of kids that have played football at a high level. There's a bunch of kids that still have growth in their own game to even be better players as seniors, but there's also a lot of experience and a lot of talent there. And then you mix in all our young kids, we're pretty good shape. This is a class we've kind of been waiting for to grow up, and we felt like could be a MAC championship class. And not that I know we did it 2 years ago and we were co-champs and all that, and we certainly had opportunities to do it this year. I think we were a little bit ahead of schedule, but again, it's hard to do it when you don't. There's a lot of rooms that didn't even have seniors in the room this year. Our linebacker room, there's no seniors in the room. Our running back room, there was no seniors in the room. Our quarterback room, there was no seniors in the room. So we still haven't even grown the program where you're going to have seniors in every room, in every class, and leaders and guys that have a ton of experience. So, no, we're super excited. That 2018 already started. We lifted yesterday, and we're having a meeting today. So we've moved on. And, again, we're going to move on quickly from 17. But we're not going to move on from the things that we need to learn from 17. That's the key. We take the things that we need to learn. We critically look at things that we didn't do as well coaching. We critically look at things we didn't do well as players, and we talk about it, and we work on it, and we change whatever we need to change to improve in those areas. But then you move on and get going great guns to 18, because worrying about 17 is not going to help you in 18.
Everybody good? Coach, appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.